Ag Science 305. Hey, we are in our final module, folks. This is module 14. We are going to tie it all together and hopefully finish out strong. This is the final module with the final homework assignment. I apologize, I'm getting this out a little bit late as I was trying to get all your exam 3s graded for you. Anyways, please make sure, if you have not done so, I sent out a Sign Up Genius for the final exam review party, if you would. That is a week from today, next Wednesday. We will be doing that out here at the Relish campus. Okay, so let's get going about what this week has in store for you. There is some content here on some different aspects that I have linked for you that I think will help on tying some of this together. One of the things is that how will we grade students once you become that teacher? Okay? Hopefully many of you are looking at ag science teaching as a career. And grading our students' record books is a important part to what we do. And then next, we also want to talk about how we move into award applications. How does this AET program transform into applying for degrees? Many of you are Lone Star recipients. Several of you I know are American degree recipients. And so how will you help your students obtain those different awards and degrees within the program? So we want to take a look at that, and now that we've got these different projects that we've entered, we can do that. In here, we have some different links that I'd like you to go through that have different, talk about different items. One of the things you will see is that there's a video here about current inventory, and it also touches back on some usage actually. Hopefully you've been keeping up with usage. I've noticed that a few of us are still not getting usage allocated, and therefore you were getting notes from me in your assignments that, hey, depreciation expenses have not been applied to your account or to your projects because usage isn't being used. So today I'm going to review that, make sure that you have an idea how to get in there and do that. So let's go over to AET. Here is the idea of what you're going to be doing for your project or the assignment this week. First off, we need to kind of verify our records, take a look, make sure everything looks good, and then we're going to go in and actually generate an American degree application. So if we hop in here, we can hop in. I'll hop into my book, and let's start taking a look. First thing I want you to get into is go into that Experience Manager. This student, boy, Mr. Lundy, you are terrible. One of the things that you should be able to see is that every one of your projects needs to have a complete SAE plan. There have been a few of you that have been not getting all the way through that plan. Make sure that that plan is complete, including learning objectives. Okay, so make sure that we get that done. And then over here, you will also see that annual reviews are going to be really important as you start applying for awards. We should see green check marks on all these annual reviews and green check marks on all these pencils for our SAE plans. Now, on the breeding cattle project, we should have gone in and adjusted that final inventory, right? So make sure you do that if you haven't done so, and make sure you get in there and get that inventory adjustment completed for December 31 of 17. And this is where you do that. All right, most of you, I think, got that in the last assignment. All right, now if you need to check on usage, you can always click on that tractor right there and get into your non-current capital item manager. You'll see here that I've got usage missing since I've got a red triangle. You'll see here that my usage was pretty good up until 15, but I fell off the wagon a little bit. If you notice, I can actually just double click here and that will populate into 100%. So a little shortcut for you that I held out on from you. But so now my usage is all the way good, and I can come down and do that for each of my cows. And the reason I'm putting 100% is that these cows, this cow number 128, she is 100% associated to my breeding cattle project. She doesn't really have anything to do with my show heifers. Even though you might say, well, what about that calf that we retained? Yeah, but that cow, 128, she is specifically to the breeding cattle. The breeding cattle project then transferred or sold that retained calf over to our show heifer project. So these cows are going to all remain at 100%. So we'll hit save. And we'll do that for the same thing with this last cow here. And we'll hit save again. And now let's get into this used stock trailer. Okay, now, I might have been able to use it for other projects, but I didn't have any entries. You all will have some more entries in here for the show steers. I would encourage you to come in here and put a 75% or whatever you think is appropriate and the 25% for there. But here I actually need to do 100% because I don't have any other projects to associate it to. All right, and then this laptop. You'll see here I used that laptop in 2015 and I put it all to that quail habitat. Now you might be able to say, hey, you know what? I did use a little bit of it when I was doing my records for my cattle. So now I can run it like that. Making sure, I guess I got to double check there, right? I need to make sure that I got a laptop that I've got the usage done. The stock trailer. Make sure I've got usage all the way for that. And this last cow, A145, it's like, well, shoot. What do I do with her? How come there's no usage there? Well, there's no usage there because she's actually non-depreciable. So there's no depreciation expense to that A145. The reason she's non-depreciable, if you remember, right, thinking back to the financial terms part of our course, is that she was born and bred by us. We didn't buy her. And so the depreciation expense doesn't happen that way. I could go into a long discussion about why, but I'll save you that. All right, so we're done with that. Let's get back in here and let's go back over our project experience manager. So you get all of the capital items done. Over here, we have a couple other aspects of it. You could grab a single essay report right there. My big thing is make sure that our annual review is done on the clipboard, the SAE plan on the pencil is done, and we get the adjusted values. And so those are just some double check things before we move on. All right. Now, we're going to take a look. Our records are done. Now it's time to apply for that American degree. So how do we get there? Right over here, we have this degree application manager. In here, and it's okay, we understand that you might have some different errors pop up in here, and that's largely going to come from the standpoint that we are not completing an actual book. We're in a fake account. And so disregard some of those different errors. Here, this is showing me an error because I didn't do many entries for that show steer project. So I need to really go back and take a look at my show steers. But let's see, what a degree. We're going to add a new American degree application. And we're going to come in here on this application. And it's actually going to populate everything that we have. So if we look at the cover, if I would have done my profile correctly, a lot of this should have been filled in. So you should see all these boxes filled in. If they are not, you can go ahead and fill them in yourself. Then a membership check. We're going to get an error here because this is a fake account. Remember, we don't actually have an FFA member that goes along, or an FFA number that goes along with our account. This is very critical, though, when you get out and become a teacher, that you check on this for your students. This making sure that they have an FFA member and it correlates to their record book. Okay. Let's get into the basic setup. We should be going all the way back to 9/1/14. That's that very first class that we took, and our ending date's coming up here, 12/31 of 18. You'll see here that we should have 4 projects actually, because we did a foundational as well. I didn't do any records for that, but if you do not, you should be able to have have all these checked. And then you'll see that we have some different assets listed out of our projects. Okay, nothing you need to do there. Just review that and see that. Then we get into our actual different projects. We can see that we've got an SAE research project. This is for our quail habitat, and you should see entries there for that. But there again, I was pretty poor at doing my entries, so I don't have a whole lot for you. Now we actually have our placement projects. Remember, our placement projects were that Keep 'em Kickin' Vet Clinic, and that happened in both 2014 and 2015. These entries will get carried forward from the record book. Okay. Now, if we look at SAE entrepreneurship, you'll see here that my different projects are listed. Over here, under this description, this is where our annual review pops up. And see here, I didn't have a single annual review done. Each of you should have an annual review. This is going to be a graded component of this week's assignment. So please make sure that your annual review is completed here in or back in your records so that it pops up here. From that, you can start getting down into income and expense statements, your ending current inventory. Now, here is what I would like you to actually take a look at. We have ending inventory, and we need to go in here and take a look at it. That ending inventory is coming from our beef cattle project, our beef breeding cattle project. And so it says it's got 1345 left over. What exactly is it? So we need to come in and detail it out. And so when that happens, we come in here and in the detail, you can explain what it is specifically. My records aren't complete. Yours should be the 4,300. I believe 1,300 of that should be from the hay leftover, and then 3,000 of it needs to be in cattle leftover. And so you will do your description. You'll choose what it actually is, the quantity, and the value, and then you add that in there. So make sure that you adjust that on this screen. Very important part of our final project. Non-current inventory, you'll see here, you should have these items. You'll notice that we've got some different items in here. I'm missing the show supplies, but we've got should have four different depreciable machinery items. We've got 3 depreciable breeding animals, and then we also see that A145 heifer is in this non-depreciable column because she was a breeding animal that we bred on our own ranch. Okay. We get down in here, you've got assets, liabilities, net worth, and then we get into the earned and productively invested. Okay. Now what this is this is an area that you can look at and see where how close you are to an American degree. For some of you, it may, after you've done this, you may want to go back and log into your old record books from your actual time as an FFA student. Some of you may be closer to an American degree than you might think. If you want help looking at that, please let me know. I'd be happy to go over that with you. So here you'll see that I've not quite met that 10,000 that I need to for an American degree on this condition 1. Under condition 2, I've still got a few hours to go to get to that 2,200 unpaid hours, if that's what I was going for. And then this last line down here, I'm still a little bit short. Now, I'm close. Maybe I need to go back in and adjust that, hey, my placement project actually paid me more than I have in my record books. So I go back in and get my records dialed in a little better. The next one we'll look at is community service. You'll see here that we've got 2 different types of community service, totaling just 12 hours. And I believe yours will total 20. But I need 50 hours and 3 different types of activities for the American degree. So this is a review page for that community service. And then this last part is this checklist. And you'll see here, some of it's going to be missing on your end, and that is simply because we have that fake book again. Many more of these will be met on your end. You'll notice here this supporting record book. This is actually a link to that complete record book report that will be provided for this week's assignment. And this is where you can click here and get a complete record book report, or you can get it also on the report tab. Then you have some signatures that you would need, and this is where it would come into play if you were working on actually submitting for the American degree. So that is, in a nutshell, very quickly, the American degree. Let's get back into our book. Over here, you'll see a complete record book report. You'll see here you can choose all of your different projects, and you can generate that PDF. For this week, you are generating a PDF and submitting it of a complete record book report. So generate that and submit. But one more, we're not done. Go right back into your American degree and your application. And right down here, you want to get into complete or print your app. Generate this PDF right here. Even though it says checklist not met, go ahead and generate that, and you'll upload that American degree app. So 2 things this week, the American degree app and a complete record book report. All right, folks, so as you get working through this, make sure that you're looking over those last things, making sure that your entries are correct. In here, once again, make sure that that SAE plan is complete all the way through for every project. Over here, make sure that that annual review is also complete. Get that annual review all the way done for each of those projects. Get in there, take a look, get those adjusted values completed the way they need to be, and get that wrapped up. Folks, if you have any questions, please let me know. We have our final exam coming up here just a little over a week and a half away here. If you have questions and concerns here towards the end, please do not hesitate to email me, come by and see me. And I appreciate you working with us this semester. If you have not done so, please do the course evaluations on the PICA or PICA. Your feedback is greatly appreciated in hopefully making this course better, that I can continue to be a better instructor for y'all. All right, take care.